The political left is infected with a cancerous radicalism, a desire to look and feel radical that comes before everything else, from reasonable beliefs to good rhetoric. It is not about being radical because radical positions are the right positions. It is about being radical because radicalism makes them feel good. It makes them feel like cool contrarian extremists, not boring moderates, or God forbid, liberals. Radicalism makes them feel unique and special. This radicalism for the sake of radicalism is a cancerous tumour that has infected the political left. It needs to be torn out. This cancer is most evident in the obsession with awful radical rhetoric. People who support police reform or police restructuring call to defund and abolish the police. People who support prison reform and restructuring call for the abolition of prisons. People who support better working conditions, fewer working hours, and a transition towards socialism and away from wage labour call themselves anti-work. Leftists consistently support very good, reasonable things, but use absolutely horrible rhetoric. There is a massive separation between what many leftists actually support and what their rhetoric declares. The defining characteristic is an obsession with making ideas sound 100 times more radical and 1,000 times worse than they really are. Leftists consistently make perfectly reasonable ideas sound absolutely awful through their obsession with radicalism as an aesthetic. And this obsession is most obvious in their constant use of radical rhetoric. Leftists use radical rhetoric which caricatures what they support to the point that it is unrecognizable. Reform and restructure become abolish. A good idea becomes a terrible one. Using such rhetoric is akin to placing a grotesque mask over a beautiful face. In using this rhetoric, one ensures that they will be misunderstood. One ensures that their ideas will seem a lot less attractive than they really are. One does the work of right-wing propagandists for them by strawmanning themselves. The political right does not do this. The political right does the opposite in many ways. The right doesn't say they want a white ethno-state when all they want to do is more heavily regulate immigration. The right says they want to more heavily regulate immigration when they want a white ethno-state. The right consistently makes their ideas sound less radical. A leftist who simply wants prison reform saying abolish prison is akin to a right-winger who simply supports getting rid of gay marriage saying kill all gay people. Right-wingers do not make their ideas sound more radical than they are. They either lie and insist that they are less radical, or occasionally they tell the truth. The left would be wise to learn from the political right. We should be making our ideas seem perfectly reasonable. And most of our ideas are perfectly reasonable, so that shouldn't be too hard. But apparently it is hard for some people, and we have the cancer of radicalism to blame. This obsession with a radical aesthetic, which is most evident in leftist rhetoric, is strategically disastrous for the left. It makes us look like dangerous extremist idiots. We are caricaturing ourselves simply because doing so makes us feel radical and unique. We are making ourselves look terrible. We are ensuring that people think we believe worse things than we really do, and we are strawmanning ourselves. The cancer of radicalism is eating away at the effectiveness of leftist advocacy. Effective advocacy is being traded for a radical aesthetic. It is pathetic and it needs to stop. The cancer of radicalism must be torn out. Not radicalism as a true ideological position, but radicalism as an aesthetic. Radicalism as a grotesque extremist mask worn by a beautiful idea. Effective advocacy should always come before the destructive desire to look and feel radical.